For 3 years, I've been fighting and arguing and desperately trying to find out everything I can about Amazon's plans regarding Stargate. We, between Scitrek and the Tack and Pulse podcast, have been at the front line and really letting you guys know at each step what was happening. But today I have to give you some bad news. Welcome to the Tack and Pulse podcast, part of the scitrek family.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
So, I told you a couple of months ago now that Sony were negotiating with Amazon, that they had this big grand idea about a multi-million-dollar deal. It would have been multiple films, multiple TV series, Amazon using some of their studio space at Culver City, and they had these big grand ideas about what would have effectively been a partnership. Now, I'm being told that those negotiations over 2 or 3 months has sort of shrunk down. And even though they're still going to be working very closely together, they've got several TV projects and several movie projects that they are working on together, there is not going to be this big partnership deal. But I also told you that part of that deal, that no longer exists, was going to potentially include Stargate. And they were actually talking to Amazon about a intellectual property deal where they would basically rent Stargate off Amazon for a set period and they would produce Stargate on their behalf. I'm now being told that that is no longer on the table and Amazon have decided against it. Now, I was as shocked as you are. Amazon have made a decision. Who knew? If only they could have done one sooner. You know, that would have been lovely, wouldn't it? But apparently that doesn't mean, which was my first thought, that we're going to get a Stargate through Amazon. Apparently not. So my first thought was, right, Amazon are going to do it themselves then. They don't want to give it to Sony. They don't want to do this rental agreement. And it must mean they're going to do it themselves. So I reached out to a couple of people, including a source that I actually have directly with MGM. And they've told me, apparently, no. It is basically nothing happening. MGM Plus and its lead, Mike Wright is the main man there, would still desperately love Stargate, a Stargate series. Amazon have always leaned towards doing a movie, which was actually semi-announced, but Deadline basically reported that they'd spoken to people at Amazon and they were going to do a movie, 8 or 9 months after I told you first. But so it was out there. We're actually being told that, and we found out through different sources, that movie was actually in the very early stages of pre-production, but when the strikes hit, and that basically ixnay on the movie, and got cut basically. And then they've gone through 2 or 3 different scenarios since. Amazon, I was always told, considered Stargate to be one of their top 5 most important things they wanted to get done when they bought MGM. I was told it was Bond, Stargate, Spaceball sequel, something to do with 2001: A Space Odyssey, and I forget what the 5th one was off the top of my head, sorry, but basically they had those priorities, and Stargate was right at the top of those priorities. So why haven't they done it? Well, they haven't even done Bond, so in that case, I'm not really surprised. Actually, out of the top 5 things, apparently they're prioritising RoboCop. That was the 5th one, RoboCop. Only really RoboCop has gone into very early pre-production, and Spaceballs the movie is in pre-production. Spaceballs the movie is actually the thing we're going to see first. We have no announcement on Bond, which is the most valuable thing MGM owned, and we have nothing on Stargate. Now, I have told you, over the 3 years, Amazon have explored different options, but none of them have come to fruition. So why is it now being paused? It seems that they're still thinking movie. Now, I'm going into opinion now, and this might be 2 + 2 = 28. But talking to different people, it seems that Amazon are thinking hard reboot. But they're in no rush to do it, because the attitude over Amazon is, there was a lot of excitement from fans when Amazon bought MGM. That's when we were most likely going to get this movie, and it would have been a continuation. That didn't happen. A lot of the excitement has now sort of ebbed away, and a lot of the momentum has been lost. People aren't excited about a Stargate continuation like they were. So, Amazon are looking at that and thinking, well, if we wait long enough, we can do a Stargate hard reboot. And basically, nobody will care. Now, that seems to be the direction they're thinking. They want to do it, but it's just not a priority. And, in fact, if they want to do a Stargate hard reboot, in fact, you need to wait a little while. Because you can't have it too close to when the series was made. It's a bit like Battlestar Galactica. Nobody was bothered about the Battlestar Galactica hard reboot because long enough had gone by. 40 years or something. 30 years when Battlestar Galactica came out. Things like the Lost in Space reboot. Years had gone by, so nobody was too bothered. Their thinking is, we'll get away with it as long as we basically outweight the fans. And I'm even seeing it in our comments that before it was no hard reboot over my dead body. If they dare do that, we'll burn Amazon down. And now it's gone to, I'll take anything. Just do Stargate. I don't care. If it's a hard reboot, I don't care. We've actually pointed out several times in videos that a hard reboot is much, much easier for creators. There's no canon to step on. There's no rules they've got to follow. There's no history they've got to remember. And to be honest, SG-1, Twiggly the End, we started defeating gods. So how do you move on from that? So yeah, I actually think that's the way they're going because it's easier. They tried to figure out a continuation. They seem to really look at every avenue other than the bloody obvious option of just hiring Brad Wright, who'd already done a script for it. But they seem to explore every other avenue, except the obvious. Now, they just seem to have given up. They seem to just be thinking, we'd love to do a movie. This is a franchise that could be really good again because it's still really popular. But we have to outweigh the fans. And to be honest, I don't think we're that far off that. So, yeah, I could see maybe 5 years down the line, a Stargate hard reboot. But I will keep my ear to the ground. And if I hear anything, any whispers, you'll be the first to know. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/scitrek where most of our new videos do premiere first and you get to see them without the adverts, you lucky bunnies. As always, please stay safe. Stargate. And I'll see you soon.